Hello, Jedi Knights and Sith Lords, and welcome to the Star Wars Artifacts show. After a summer hiatus, we are finally back, and we are thrilled to be back and break down the brand new Ahsoka series. As usual, I'm with my co host Eric, but tonight, for this very special occasion, we have MC joining us tonight who will bring, like the Ahsoka series, a feminine touch to the group. So, well, first of all, Mary, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
All right. So, Eric, how has been your summer so far?
It's been good. Can't complain.
Hmm?
The weather's been a little on and off, but other than that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been pretty good. I think it's the least amount we've used our pool this year, but besides
Hmm.
that, all is good. Family's healthy. Can't ask for anything more. So
All right. Well, on my part, I've been shooting a lot of reviews because I wanted to build a little cushion uh, because of our upcoming trip to Walt Disney World and obviously Galaxy's Edge. So, yeah, I'm officially in vacation since Monday now. So, aside from the Star Wars Artifact show, I won't be working for a little while. So, that is pretty cool. And well, tonight we have a pretty stacked up show for you guys. Obviously, we're gonna break down the first two episodes of the Ahsoka series. But before we continue and go on, I think we have a few reminders for our audience. Do you want to go with it, Eric,
yeah.
or
So as you know, right before we took our break, we finally got access to super chats. So just usual reminder: like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and again, feel free to send us a super chat at any time to help support the group and the team. It would be greatly appreciated. There's also quick little note that we're working on is we're going to start a contest soon um, to be driving our followers, our subscriptions up to 2,000. And when we do, we're going to have a prize. So it's a little bit of a
giveaway?
teaser. Yeah, a giveaway. We're not gonna say much more than that, but it's not a black figure like a Black Series figure. It's quite
It's a nice
substantial. Yeah,
prize.
it's a
Yeah,
quite a
it's
big
gonna be.
prize.
Yeah, well, maybe we can, without revealing, the characters. Maybe we can just say that it's a gift from Gentle Giant
Ooh.
Yeah.
that we are going to give to our subscribers. So more detail to come, but we'll probably reveal it next week,
And if you
I
know
guess.
Gentle Giant, you'll know that their prices don't tend to be very gentle at all. So
That's true. That's
yeah,
true.
but it's not crazy. I mean, there's obviously very affordable stuff, but it's a very nice prize that we're lining up to give
Yeah,
away or to
They
draw
make pretty
once.
cool. They make
cool
pretty cool
Yeah,
stuff.
statues.
So
Yeah,
yeah. So been truly blessed and supported by them in the last couple months. So
yes, absolutely.
again, don't forget
And
super
I was
chat. Yes.
mentioning filming reviews. Some of them are about Gentle Giant products. So yeah, the next few weeks are going to be pretty cool. So I'll save that for the end of the show.
And what about you, Maggie? How was your summer? How have you kept busy?
so far so good, I guess. But tomorrow we are leaving for Fun Expo, so we are pretty
Hmm.
excited for that. And I can't wait to meet Hayden Christensen. So I make a Padme cosplay just for this occasion. So I can't wait. I'm pretty excited. So
Nice.
so far so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm
Yeah.
joining Mary on the trip, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. There's also Nico Crank, who's a regular on the show that's gonna be there. So yeah, it'll be pretty fun. And there's also Ming-Na Wen, who will attend, our very own Fennec Shand, and who else? Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah.
the voice actress for Ahsoka, is going to be there. So I'll probably have her sign my Legacy lightsaber exclusive edition box set. So it's gonna be pretty fun. So can't wait to bring you back some cool photos from our trip to Toronto. And
We're
yeah,
gonna be very busy this weekend.
oh yeah, very busy next few days. We're leaving tomorrow. We'll get there around supper dinner time tomorrow night. Friday and Saturday are gonna be hectic.
Oh
I'll
yeah.
probably stop by the 501st boot. Uh, I'll be dressed as an officer on Friday, so perhaps I'll give like an hour of time to take photos with fans, and then there's gonna be some panels. The entire Obi Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka from the Clone Wars, the voice actors, will be there. So there's a panel with those guys. Can't wait to see that. There is a Big Nawan panel as well. So it's gonna
That's
be
if they're still happening, right? Like, because I mean, we found out Hayden
yeah,
Christensen canceled his panel due to the
this panel,
strike.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
who
Hmm.
knows what else is going to happen? At least the good news for you guys is that he's still going to be there. So
Yeah. The
um,
photo ops and the signings
yeah,
are still on, so that's
Thanks God.
reassuring.
yeah. You always get
Yeah.
those that little wave of cancellations, but now it's been even a little
Hmm.
bit more hectic with the strike going on. If someone maybe was hoping or holding out on it being resolved, but it's not the
Yeah.
case. But like doesn't stop them from doing the autographs and the photos. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
okay, well,
So without any further ado,
yeah, I hate you guys
uh,
enough now. You made me all jealous, but I had to make that decision to not go. I had to cancel my Toronto trip to choose the wonderful world of Disney instead. So
yeah,
no
well,
Yeah.
regrets.
it's gonna be pretty epic that trip as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's on Monday the countdown was at 28 days. So
yeah. It's coming along. So
hmm
soon enough, we'll be there. So I don't know what you guys think. Do you want to give an early impression, or how about we let the people, anyone who's on, let us know what you think if you've watched the first
yeah,
two episodes at any time. Chime in. Doesn't have to be a super chat. I mean, obviously, just participate, chat, tell us what you think, your opinions, anything you see. Just don't be afraid to ask questions or anything. And that's Dom will probably be the one that's going to answer the difficult ones for sure. And so yeah, so let's start. So Ahsoka for episode one, called
Yep.
Master and Apprentice.
hmm
Very familiar term in any of the Star Wars lore. So, Mary, what did you think of this scroll?
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure. I don't like it. I don't know if it's because of my job, because I'm a graphic designer, or something. It's just the way I see it, they made it so fast and lazy. I mean, they could just add a fade effect or something like
Yeah,
that.
hmm
But just that way, I'm not a fan.
it's
I don't like it at all.
it really looked like. I mean, I work with like for my job with Word, Excel, and all this stuff. It looks like they just
Yeah,
kind of wrote
exactly.
something and then just like use the little option at the top to put it over to the left, and that's it. Like we're so used to the yellow, everything is perfectly aligned
Yeah.
and symmetrical, uh, and Marie definitely knows how I am with symmetry because we're always talking about like the photos and stuff that we work on, but it's like it just really felt like an afterthought. Like, hey, oh, maybe we should have a scroll, and okay, we'll do it like this. No, let's do it different. I just felt like it was just almost unnecessary, but obviously, like and the feedback we've heard is like they had to catch you up on what's been going on, and unfortunately compensate for some of the people, in my opinion, that didn't watch the Rebel series, which is fine if you didn't watch it, but like they've got some kind of work to do, right? Like almost like if you watch like episode 9 of the movie, they've got some kind of like, okay, I got to fix this and kind of make this align to get onto the story that I really want to tell, right? So
Mm.
um
I'm with you with the alignment of the text, but the color red, reminded me a lot of the final episodes of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, and
It was a
the
red logo, and the titles were in red, and it didn't bother me that much. But I agree that I've seen so much better crawls. I think I would have preferred the paragraphs to appear and disappear one after the other,
yeah,
rather
yeah,
than have it
yeah,
into a
yeah, it was just
crawl.
weird. It was just a Anyway,
it would have
The
been
lazy
a little bit
job.
more like the Solo movie, where at the beginning there's like text appearing and disappearing.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that
But
would have been
yeah,
a
I
better
agree that
choice.
it felt weird. There was something odd that they put a lot of emphasis on some parts with the all caps
Yeah.
writing like evil galactic
Plot is
empire.
underway to find the lost Imperial Grand Admiral Thrawn and bring out
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like,
If you check the third line, sinister agents, there's also that those two words are found in the opening crawl of A New Hope.
yeah.
So that's a little nod to the original trilogy, I guess. But reusing the same phrasing or same words to you know to make us feel like a little bit nostalgic, I guess. But
Well,
yeah,
you know what?
well,
We've spent
thank
enough
God it didn't
time
last long.
talking about this crawl, so it's I find that they've kind of lured us into maybe the attention that they wanted out of it. So let's move on.
Hmm.
So visually, I don't know what you guys thought, but I think it was Nico that said something along. It has that animation kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This series, I mean, my opinion was that it was super bright. Like the colors were
Hmm.
really kind of like punching in the face. It's very light compared to like if you watch Obi-Wan and like the
Mando.
dark scene. Yeah, Mando. It's got that gloomy kind of like it's not Zack Snyder, but it's like kind of like it's got that look to it, right?
Like
Hmm.
a gray greenish tone or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
like that.
This was very
I'm
crisp and bright. Like
I'm sure you guys remember the first episode we saw Ahsoka in the Mando. It was like a polluted world with the dead trees, and it was so dark,
yeah,
Oh, I don't
almost no
remember.
lighting until the very end of the episode.
yeah.
So
And here we have Captain Kirk up here. There, it's interesting scene. I think we all kind of brushed on it before his kind of arrogance, but I think we have a name, right? Um,
I don't have the name of the actor. I have a total blank, but the one who acts as the captain is the same actor who portrayed Private Drake in the Aliens movie, so the second installment of the Aliens. So I thought it was pretty cool. And if you look at the uniforms for those officers, they are practically the same as General Chris Medine from Return of the Jedi. So since this story is happening maybe around between 5 to 8 years after Return of the Jedi, this makes total sense that they still use the same kind of uniforms for the officers.
Mm.
so I mean, at this point, I mean, they had it was like a transport looking type ship that was on the way, and like his arrogance was quite funny. Like it was something that I find wasn't fitting to the rebels. His personality, thought, I don't know, it felt more like an imperial personality. His
Yeah, you're right.
cockiness. Oh well, let's see I'm curious to know what's going on. And even when he addresses well, obviously we're gonna get here, but addresses
Well,
Balin here.
it help explains how the New Republic falls because they're so confident that they have won and
Mm-hmm.
that the Empire is dead that that it will bring their own demise.
Mm.
Tron will come back with the remnants of the Empire. Obviously, they'll vanquish them, but they won't learn from that lesson, and they'll fall in the same pattern and let the First Order rise from the ashes of the Empire. So I think that kind of attitude to be like, you seem to be above all things
Yeah.
makes some sense, and it helps to justify what happens to the New Republic.
And Maggie, I know there's a few things that you thought was similar, but this reminded me of episode one, the very beginning of episode
Yeah,
With
that's
the
true.
Qui-Gon
Yeah.
and
the
Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
rebel. Yeah, I
Yeah.
It
had
has
that.
the same feeling.
Yeah, had the
True.
exact same flash of the arriving
Yeah.
and stuff. So I thought it was funny though that dude is wearing a helmet there, the squid.
The
Oh yeah,
Calamari.
Yeah,
that's true.
Mhm.
that they found a helmet that helmet fits him better than everyone else when you think about it. And then our wonderful Ray Stevenson, in my opinion, stole the show. I mean, he was really the highlight of the first two episodes for me. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great acting, yeah, for sure.
you want to give some context as to what was going on here?
Well, the captain says, "Well, I'm not buying your act. You guys are no Jedi." He asked his troops to put them under arrest,
And he said there were
and
like
well,
Imperials that in disguise that went a bit too far, got a something like that.
yeah,
Like made a comment.
yes, yeah, it was pretty funny that he didn't even bother, checking if they had some real skills or so. Ray Stevenson, Balin Skull says, "Well, you're right on one thing. We're no Jedi." And then you see well, it's not a red blade; it's more of an orangish
Orange,
kind of
yeah.
yeah.
Towers over him
So,
though, eh? It looked like
oh yeah,
I don't know if it was the other guy that was short, but oof, he looks like massive here. So and
I love
this
that scene.
and man, what did you think about this scene? Tell us what
um,
your
I, f- I feel like it's very just like the Darth Vader scene in the Rogue One.
yeah
hmm
The feel, the power, even the way the costume fit.
yeah.
It's
yeah,
almost like the same as the Darth Vader one.
And going through
yeah,
the
So
corridor and just blowing through everyone, right?
yeah,
Just like
yeah,
that
yeah,
whole yeah, very cool
and
and
stuff.
and feeling the panic of the rebels,
yeah,
right? The, the, the,
you see
the New
people
Republic
running,
soldiers, yeah.
and to be honest, I think it's my favorite scene of the two episodes.
Fair
Okay,
enough. Fair enough. Okay, so now we have to find ours, Dom. We have to at the
yeah,
end
yeah,
we're gonna
yeah.
have to figure out which one ours is gonna be.
So that's a scene from Kill Bill, right? Oh no, no, sorry, it's
I don't know. So
So we have Morgan and Lisbeth, who is getting rescued by our two former Jedi, and obviously she knew them because she immediately recognized Balin when
Balin, yeah.
she sees him, and she shows her cuffs, and as Palpatine did with Luke Skywalker in Return of the Jedi, he takes them off pretty easily
Good
and they,
call.
they move on. Yeah, they begin their exit of the ship. So
And we finally see Ahsoka with a classic, I think, image we've seen in almost every trailer or
for a year now,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
yeah. So, and they changed the I don't know what you call those things, but those are longer now, right? Like the
The Montrals.
yeah. So
Yeah, they are longer and they look to be of a totally different fabric.
yeah,
yeah, they look way much better
Yeah,
now
yeah, yeah, yeah,
than
yeah.
they used to be.
Yeah, because when she turns her head, they follow it. It doesn't look as stiff as they were
Yeah,
before. I guess the latex technology has improved in the
no,
last
maybe
2 or 3 years. But
maybe it didn't work. And you know what? Like when you have the fan bases, we know the Star Wars fan base could be when it's just not
mhm,
exactly the way they're used to it. They call it out, right? So
yeah,
I think she did remind me. I was a little iffy on her, like in terms of her look when I first saw her. I don't think it was that, but like I find that I really feel like she's closer to the Ahsoka that we've seen at the
hmm
end in Rebels, the more mature looking and I don't know, even the way she was dressed, the costumes were incredible, and I thought she was always on point. So that was really not my issue. This we saw in the trailer was just such a cool move, kind of
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
unnecessary. I'm like, there's no
Exactly.
one there. Like, why are you showing off type thing? But like, I thought it was a really clever way of doing it, and so this part, I don't know, Dom, if you have anything or Maggie, but you had
What?
mentioned something about the Night Sisters, or
yeah. I think the figure looks like Mother Treason. I'm not sure if I pronounced it
Mother
right.
Tarzan,
Tarzan. Well,
yeah,
yeah,
Mother
yeah.
Tarzan, yeah.
And I think that's cool that now we see the magic side of the Star Wars.
hmm
So because that I think it's something that we never seen before,
yeah, the
unless
Yeah,
witchcraft. Unless you watch
yeah,
animated, yeah, I mean, but
yeah,
let's face it. I think we had this discussion yesterday. Not that many people. I think we kind of probably take for granted how many people might have watched it, but a lot of people haven't. I mean, the more I speak
yeah,
to, the
yeah.
probably.
more the
So I think it was a nice touch to see the Night Sister.
Mhm.
So it's something that I can wait to see more of it.
And for my part, I got a lot of Fallen Order vibes
Yeah, that's
with
true.
the
yes,
puzzle solving
Dom. I was gonna
and
say exactly that, man. I'm
the,
telling you.
the graphics, it felt very Zepho.
Lining
At
up
some,
everything. And I took
Yeah.
this picture because of that. Like she's lining up the light. Okay, and then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I feel like I'm controlling her, going, no, go over here, turn this, no, no, go over there. The stupid
Mhm.
balls there in Fallen Order. They're
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh
true.
man,
I remember
it
that
really
part.
felt like that puzzle to me. But yeah, that
and
was pretty
and the
cool.
sphere that sphere that she ends up with it looks a lot like the balls that we
Yes,
push in
yeah.
the first movie, the
Mm.
It, in the
at the
game, in
Several
the
Temple, yeah,
oh man,
on
it's and
Zepho, yeah.
that's the worst. I think both my kids who are pretty good at video games and figuring stuff out. I think both of them came to see me like, what do I do here? Like it's so
Yeah, that
even.
part was
Oh
hard.
my god,
That
trying
was
to
tough.
use the wind and bring up the elevator and all that stuff. It's like then it comes towards you, you gotta freeze it. This droid to me, we spoke it real quick before as well. Just looked so
Hmm.
cool. I thought he was so. Every time I see this, and I know he's gonna die, I'm like but he wasn't moving, staring right at her. The cape flying in the wind. I should have done a video of this because it just looks so
It,
cool.
it,
But
it gave me a lot of Japanese anime vibes,
yes,
with the
Oh
cape
yeah,
in the
yeah.
wind. Yeah,
especially
yeah,
with Visions that just came out not too long ago, that
it's
definitely had
true.
some of that
Yeah.
in there. So obviously he wasn't alone. Came with his gang. First battle scene that we saw. Quick feedback for you guys. What did you think about the first lightsaber battles?
Well, when we see her cutting from under to bring the droids down
Yeah,
in the room she was moments before, it gave me a little of Looney Tune vibes. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it was yeah. For
Yeah.
her to get the circles perfect. I mean, again, it's a show.
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't have to be too picky about that.
Yeah, I know. I
But
mean,
the battle sequence in general was pretty cool. The blocking and stuff like that, the
yeah.
dodging, and
I find we're a lot more aligned with the Return of the Jedi kind of like even to an extent. If you think of the sequels, were not as acrobatic as choreographed as the prequels in terms of
Mhm.
lightsaber
Yeah,
battles.
that's true.
A lot more just straightforward hack and slash. My personal opinion is I find that they cater to her abilities of lightsaber training that she has, right? The
Yeah,
actress. I don't know if I mean she it's not like if she's who knows, maybe she's been doing this for years, but like nowhere near the level of Hayden Christensen and even Ewan McGregor. So like
Mm.
and I think that they try to stay practical and then try not to have special effects and all that stuff. So I find them they're a little bit more simplified than we're used to, but it still works. Like I said, I prefer this than the um, you know relentless, useless acrobatics that we saw sometimes
yeah, and the prequels.
in the prequels. I still love them. I think the battles are incredible. That Obi-Wan
Hmm.
Darth
For
Maul
sure.
after Qui-Gon's death is will always remain one of my favorite sequences. But
Yeah,
um,
that 20 or 30-second span right
oh man,
after it comes out, when the red barrier comes out,
yeah,
and
the blocking
it's like
behind the
That
front,
was
like
cool.
so
everything
intense.
is
Yeah.
just still. And I'll even to this day, if I go back and watch episode 3, I love the battle. I just find sometimes they're just looking at each other and just swinging their lightsabers around like what the. So this I prefer this kind of style, obviously, but I find that if you have been watching Rebels and you have been watching Clone Wars, those are probably some of your best lightsaber battles
Mm.
Yeah.
in the
Hmm.
whole story. So this was pretty cool too. She, I mean, obviously defeats them. The two that were down in the holes, like you said, at a la Looney Tune, that they kind of came back up, and even with his head severed, calls for to initiate the self destruct protocol. When I saw her run away, I was like, okay, I guess it's pretty bad. Oh, it was pretty bad. It was,
Yeah,
Very bad.
I guess they all had some little nukes
jeez,
in there.
man, they pack a punch. So obviously she gets away, and who do we meet here?
A familiar face, our good old friend Hu Yang, who used to be the droid on board the starship that took younglings to uh, get or acquire their lightsaber crystals. So I'm having a blank on the planet. I'm so sorry.
Oh my
That's
god.
not me.
All
I
right,
had a long
Is
day.
it's
are you
over.
talking
Show's
about?
over. Show's over.
I'm
We
tired.
Wait,
lost.
Yeah,
We
God.
lost Dominic. He took the summer off. Now he's forgetting stuff.
yeah, yeah. And
But
I've rewatched all my. That's what I'm with.
but them the planet
Ilum.
is
I got it.
that
It's
Ilum?
Ilum. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ilum.
yeah.
Yeah, Ilum.
Oh my God! Thank
So
God Maggie's here. Jeez,
yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
They
She's
saved the day.
very saved the day. Yeah, that's it.
So
So
maybe you could tell me, but like I don't remember the droid necessarily, but the look of the droid looks extremely familiar. Is there
Yeah, same here.
is there something? Is it like
it was inspired by Walter Quarry's
there you go.
concepts.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, but not entirely. But yeah, some parts like the face with the nose. But his backstory is that he's been helping younglings build the lightsaber for since the days of the old, not the old republic, but the High Republic.
Okay.
So he's been doing this for a long while.
Well,
That's why he's so proud to say that 75% of his parts are original
yeah.
because he's
It's
been
like an
through a
old
lot. And
classic car that
yeah, so yeah, that was pretty cool to see him, and we'll talk about him more later.
yeah.
But yeah, he's been doing his thing for a while now.
So here we have our
And then we
wonderful.
have Era Syndulla, General Era Syndulla, we should say. So obviously her badge is the badge of a general with the 5 red dots. And
You say
well,
obviously. Yeah, right. Yeah, obviously.
yeah, we all know that.
and on her right shoulder, there's a little patch with the Phoenix
Yeah.
Squadron logo on it. So that was pretty cool. And she's met Ahsoka before, so they've worked before for a few missions during the Rebel series. So obviously they know each other, and they're pretty happy to see each other again. But they haven't not seen each other for a while now, so it's pretty. It's a pretty cool reunion.
She's the
Those
only
who have
one
not
that that I said. I think. I mean, I don't want to be critical, but in terms of looks, I've grown accustomed to seeing them all. But this is the only one that I'm. It's gonna have to grow on me a little bit more. I think
Mm.
Mhm.
her look in Rebels was quite different from her look in here. But it'll grow on me. I think it's the eyes. Probably this because animation we hold it to a certain
There's
level,
bigger
right?
eyes,
So yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hmm.
But
and
there's
I feel
just
like the.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I feel like the makeup on your face feels like it's flat. It doesn't have
I
like
just
a texture
I
or
find she
some
looks like a
shadow.
cosplayer. I find she
Yeah,
just looks like a
but
cosplayer. Yeah.
Hmm.
we have seen some cosplayer who make a so much better job than this.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I
It's all
don't know.
right. It'll grow on me, I'm sure.
And she has maybe a little rounder face as well than
Yeah,
we've seen
it's
in
different.
Yeah,
the. But don't forget that since the Rebel series ended, she had a son,
yeah,
so
you're
she's a
right.
mother now. So
Yeah, well, I mean,
maybe it explains a
uh,
little bit.
I think
Ah, yeah.
we're trying to read into it a little bit too much. So here, Balin and Shin,
Yeah,
their full names. Hold on, I got it. I think
Baden Skull and Shin Ari.
there you go. So these are
By the way,
new. Go ahead.
since we're talking about those two villains, uh, Skull and Ari are characters of the Norse mythology. So, in that mythology, they are both wolves that are chasing. The Skull is chasing the sun, and Ari is chasing the moon. And when they end up catching up on the sun and the moon, it's the Ragnarok. So basically, the end of the world. So and we all know Dave Filoni's love for wolves. So I guess it's safe to say that he took that part of the Norse mythology to create those two characters, and they are two lone wolves, being mercenaries and doing their own thing, and there's a lot of double sense, I guess, in those two.
Hmm.
In
I'm
those
sure
the links we
there's
can do between them, yeah.
I'm sure there's some kind of metaphor, kind of like there's going to be some resemblance, some inspiration to the character. We'll probably see it develop further as we go. So this is, mentioning that, the device that she found will give the location of the last missing Imperial Grand Admiral, which she follows up by, saying Thrawn, basically. So it's
Mhm.
we won't get into it too much now and all the backstory because there is still a lot to unravel with this and a lot that they're trying to catch up.
Yeah, and Era knows Tron because she got to meet him in the Rebel series.
Yeah.
He basically took over his family's home, and there was like this little thing with the Twilight Calicori, which is like a family tree. It's a little thing you put on your on a desk, and it's like a each cube corresponds to a member of the family, and he took it from her. It's almost as sacred as I don't know what it could be for us, but it's a very sacred thing for the Twi'leks, and um,
And I think
Kanan.
we have seen it on the Endor series, right?
Yeah, there was I don't know if it was her Calicori, but there was a Calicori
Yeah.
in Luton Rail's antiques shop. There was one in that shop as well. So there's been two times that we saw it in TV shows, and there's also one that was sold at Galaxy's Edge for a while a few years ago. So,
Mm.
but now I think it's out of stock or they removed it completely. But
Yeah, I think they are sold out.
so it was just to say that Era knows who Tron is, and she's worried of what he's capable of doing should he come back. So that's the whole plot around that thing. So,
This is just a big
and then we move on to
celebrating
Lothal.
the day that the Empire came down, or
Yeah,
was
it was
it the
defeated on Lothal. Yeah.
yeah? So they were presenting or trying to present Sabine, who wasn't there. It was just kind of funny, a little bit of humor in the scene here. Hey, you got your wolves right there. And then
Mhm.
you got
This
Mister.
fun little figure creature.
Yeah, is
So
He looks tired.
yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if they had trouble with the costume about or the face
No,
of
I
that
don't think.
species, but I assume it's a Gotal, which we're gonna see on the next picture. We've seen many of those creatures in the Rebel series, and yeah, we just thought it was funny looking. I guess, as
Tell
Mary
us,
said, he looks tired.
tell us what you think. I mean, do you think that that's? I mean, I think it probably is, but there's just I have no problem with the costume. It's just the face.
Oh, the
The
costume
face
was
looks
great. Yeah, the
weird.
Yeah,
face. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. He even got a weird kind of look, like a frowny kind of worried face. But
Yeah.
there's a
And the
lot of
teeth,
similarities. Yeah,
maybe
it's
it's because Sabine is not there. He's like, oh,
he's
we're in
upset.
trouble.
I think it's every screenshot I've seen, he's got the same face on. So I don't know. I guess, but good catch though.
Yeah,
And
well,
obviously,
go back two pictures because there's the character next to the Gotal. He is the Senator Jai Kell. Is played by Vinnie Thomas, but Jai Kell was one of Ezra's friends throughout the Rebel series. They met at the Imperial Academy when Ezra was infiltrated.
oh, is he
Uh,
the one that stayed on as he stayed there, I guess, to
he
continue
stayed
his training?
behind.
Yeah,
That's
to
it.
stay as a
Yeah,
squad. Oh
is
man, really nice.
and we see him in the final episodes. He is in. I think he's piloting the ghosts during the final battle
Oh,
of Lothal. So yeah,
wow.
he's a good friend of Ezra. So yeah, it's pretty fun to see him. And do you have a picture of Governor Ryder Azadi, or we do
No,
not?
I just had the back of his head, unfortunately.
Okay, well, let's go back to see the back of his head. So
Yeah.
he's played by Clancy Brown, and Clancy Brown voiced Ryder Azadi in the Rebels series.
Hmm.
He also played Berg in the first season of The Mandalorian. You know the Devaronian with the two horns that end up being cut during the escape from jail episode with the two weird
Oh
looking
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Twi'leks.
yeah. You're right. Yeah,
So the guy who's holding the door, that's
yeah.
Clancy Brown as well.
Oh
And
man.
he also voiced the Inquisitor in Tales of the Jedi.
Jeez.
So he's been
He's
around
familiar, yeah.
the Star Wars scene for
Very
a while
familiar.
now.
I always
So
remember him as the guy from Pet Cemetery. So, well, Pet Cemetery 2 and
and the Green Mile with Tom Hanks. He's the jerk prison guard. Well, one of the jerk prison guard.
Oh,
So
trying to remember that. It sounds familiar. I mean, it makes sense. He's in the Stephen King stuff, but um, I'm trying to remember. I mean, it's always on TV,
yeah,
that show. But anyway, we digress.
Mhm.
Let's move on to Sabine.
and
Obviously,
then
the first time we've
and
seen
then we
her.
switched to the third Top Gun movie
Yeah,
with
exactly.
uh, Sabine channeling her inner Maverick. So it was a great scene, and we got to see an E-wing for the very first time on
Yeah.
screen because E-wings were they played a role in the Legends books, but we never got to see them in canon. So the fans of the expanded universe will be happy to finally see E-wings in live action and being canonized at last. So
Speaking of
yeah,
legends, though,
it's
you saw that little clip I put with Dave Filoni saying like it was always legends to them. It was they
mhm,
were a part of it, but for them they're always fun little stories, right? Like so people that like try to
yeah,
like classify it as legends, it's weird because to them it's like it always was, right? So it's like
mhm,
it never really was canon, but
yeah.
so if you haven't seen that clip, it's on the Star Wars Artifacts Facebook page.
Facebook page. And then we see the old comms tower we saw numerous times in the Rebel animated series. So it used to be Ezra's little bunker.
Yeah,
Yeah, and now it's Sabine who lives there. As you
the
can
cat.
see, we have a little lost cat. Yeah.
they are so
So
cute. I
Yeah.
want one.
yeah,
I have a feeling this is the toy of this series. If there is going to be one, this is going to be it. But I haven't seen
yeah,
Oh
anything
yeah,
yeah,
else
I'm
yeah.
yet.
sure of
But
it.
Mando had Grogu, Kenobi had Lola, and
yeah,
now we have the lost cat. I guess
They will
so.
be everywhere for Christmas. I'm sure of that.
so there's
Yeah,
lots of
yeah.
stuff. All right, lots of Easter eggs. I didn't take too many photos, but lots of Easter eggs in her
Yeah,
Ezra's
Yeah.
old
well,
house.
those who watched Rebels know that Ezra was collecting Star Wars helmets. Well, not Star Wars, Imperial helmets.
Black Series and it's
Black
Gentle
Series.
Giant statues and
Well, Imperial helmets. So he had his obviously his stormtrooper, his scout trooper, and he even had this one that he wore numerous times um, in the Rebel series. And I thought it was a cool prop to be standing there in his old house. And I would assume that it's going to be one of, well, we're speaking of Black Series, one of the first repaint they do about the Scout Trooper element. So,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, this part as she kind of ducks down under her desk, we see her Mandalorian helmet, and I think that this was also kind of um, showing that it's tucked away somewhere. It's kind of behind her at this point. She's
Yeah.
moved
Yeah,
on.
part of her past. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's what they were kind of showing by showing this under there, like kind of forgotten, not forgotten, but like just like tucked away. So, and she goes to her. I guess it's her comm or communicator, or how would you call that?
Yeah, communicator, I guess.
Holocron
Yeah, how the projector.
yeah, holo
Yeah,
projector. And we get to see our little buddy here.
yeah. Ezra with his, the clothes he was wearing before he got away with Tron.
Mm.
So he recorded a message for the whole crew of the Ghost, but he also recorded this private message for Sabine. So I thought it was pretty nice, pretty cool, and it's the introduction to Ezra for all of those who never saw the Rebels animated
So
series.
on that though, Dom, how about like briefly give so we're talking about Ezra's gone and Thrawn is gone.
Mhm.
So maybe just a short version of what happened basically and why perhaps they're not in the show right now, right?
Okay, well, okay, I'll go very brief in a few lines. I'll
Yeah,
try to contain myself. So Ezra was an orphan because his parents were killed by the Empire. He lived on Lothal, so in that tower. and he got found by the Ghost Crew, which included Era, Sabine, Zeb, which we saw in The Mandalorian last season, and there was also Chopper, the droid we saw in those two episodes, and a Jedi known as Kaden Jarrus. So, as the series went on, Kaden discovered that he had some Jedi abilities. So, he, the Force was strong with him, and he began training him as a Jedi. And all things led to another. Grand Admiral Tron was in charge of the Imperial prisons on Lothal. And in the final few episodes, they engaged in a pretty big battle with his forces. And in the final episode, uh, Ezra was on his Star Destroyer, the Chimera, and Ezra always had a connection with animals. So he had a special connection with the Lodcats, the Wolves, but also the Purgles. The Purgles are the space whales we briefly saw in The Mandalorian when Mando was in hyperspace and Grogu was looking through the little bubble. So we saw the shadows of the Purgles. Some people call them space whales. I guess it's fair. But when all hopes seemed lost, he called the Purgles and they took his Star Destroyer to, we used to say the unknown regions, but now we know it's a totally different galaxy. So,
Well,
since that very moment, we have never heard of Ezra or Grand Admiral Tron. So, that is what the whole story of the Ahsoka series will be about.
and
The
that's where we
search.
left off with Rebels, right? Like there was a lot of
Yeah.
unknown. It moved forward a little
Hmm.
bit the way it ended. So that
And
basically gives you a bit of a recap of. I mean, Dom gave a detailed beginning, removed about 3 seasons, and gave you about the last episode there. But like,
yeah.
there's so much you guys can go watch and again catch up and add context to this. It's only one episode a week, so you have plenty of time to catch up.
Hmm.
But yeah, it gives you a little bit of a look and a little bit of a backstory if you haven't watched the series, to why these
And
people are not there, right? So
yeah, and the episodes are about 22 minutes each.
yeah,
So, you have a little break at some time, you watch the episode and
yeah,
you go on after.
They
So,
are not that long,
no.
so
yeah.
So over here, took a shot here of a
Yeah, well, we moved to Arcana, which is the planet Ahsoka was in the beginning. And we found out that it's a former Night Sister temple.
yeah.
So
yeah.
for those who never watched, I feel like I have to make so much
I mean,
education
it's
tonight.
just I just so because there's a mention of Dathomir at one point, but like it's just I felt it was kind of weird that there were, I guess, in numerous places or something. It's just
Yeah, yeah. So the Night Sister were based on Datomir, but they had temples a little bit like Jedi were based in Coruscant, and they had some temples all around the galaxy. So the Night Sister were witches, basically. They have a strong connection with the Force, and they use it in the form of magic,
Mm.
but magic with a K instead of a C at the end. So for those who watched the Clone Wars, we saw it numerous times. Those who know who Asajj Ventress is, well, she was one of the Night Sisters.
and even more
And Eric,
recently in Fallen Order, right? I mean,
yeah, that's it.
it's probably the more
So,
famous of our. I don't want to say our, but the newer generation. Anyone who's been playing the Fallen Order will know who. Probably a bit more familiar with that character. So
yeah, that's Meryn, right?
yeah,
The
Yeah,
name?
Marin.
Meryn. So, yeah, so she was also a Night Sister. And they were mostly dressed in dark red clothes. So it justifies how Morgan is dressed right now.
and
So,
speaking of that, Morgan, is that the most regular name that they've ever used in all of Star Wars? Like,
I
true.
know,
especially for
right?
like for
Yeah,
a witch, like or whatever you want to call it, but like Morgan.
yeah,
At
because,
one point they were talking about. I'm like, what? I'm like, how did
It's
they
very
come up with that?
basic.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
it's like
because,
if Balin's name was like Steve. Like it would have been kind of
yeah,
weird, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And we don't know many Night Sister names, I guess, but
Yeah,
we know Mother Talzin. We spoke at the beginning of the show. We know Asajj Ventress, and we know Merrin. So those are not common
let's call her
names at all.
Morgan or something like. Try to but Morgan.
Yeah,
It's just weird. But anyway,
it feels weird. Yeah. So basically, she's in charge of the whole operation, and those two former Jedi are mercenaries who have been hired by Morgan. So uh, that's why the apprentice Shin Ati, asks Balin Skull at some point, do I follow her orders or
yeah. Well, it's
do I
because
stick with
she
you,
sends her off to go find Ahsoka.
Sabine?
Yeah, Sabine and Ahsoka
Mm.
Tano's former apprentice. So that's like, oh, hey,
Hmm.
wait a minute, because this is not something that we've seen in Rebels. So anyone who
That's it.
obviously didn't watch it, that they allude to, Sabine being force sensitive or training of her Jedi and all this stuff. But that was not in Rebels. This is something that they've introduced only in this show, and
Yeah,
even then, we don't really know some of the story. But besides, and this is where we're getting some of it, right? Ahsoka Tano's former apprentice. So like, oh, okay, so I mean, obviously we've seen the trailers and everything like that, but it was the first kind of like mention of it. I guess in anyone who's been following the stories without the trailer. So again, there you see Ezra's little helmet collection there. And just a
hmm
little moment of silence for all those scout troopers that have fallen at the hands of.
fallen heroes for
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Also, I don't know if you guys remember, but there's the stormtrooper helmet on the corner,
Yeah,
and
Hmm.
there is some blood on it, and it reminds me the cover of the book, The
the
Troopers.
zombie book there that the
Yeah,
head.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
with the hooks and the chains. And
Yeah.
yeah, I agree
yeah. It
with you.
looked
It's
pretty same. The
yeah.
So I got Ahsoka that finally comes back, and we'll see the reunion between the apprentice and master and apprentice, and
Hmm.
so obviously bringing it to her, being all artsy crafty to decode what if she can open up the map. Um,
Yeah,
and it's funny because she asked if she could bring it
yeah.
to take it with her, and she said absolutely not. But as we saw
Hmm.
early in the episode, Sabine is not one to listen. And
Yeah.
then Sabine, obviously she seems obsessed with finding Ezra, and this the point that I thought was important is that you know Ahsoka reminding her this is not just about Ezra, right? So for something bigger than that, so I guess she's
Yeah.
noticing maybe we're getting another hint as to why maybe something happened was her obsession. They talk about Jedi's, I guess, and emotions and stuff like that, but if she's letting um, Ezra and finding Ezra get in the way of actually following the right path of being a Jedi. Maybe that's
Hmm.
part of it, right? I guess we'll find out later, but um,
Yeah, because fighting Israel is one thing, but if Grand Admiral Tron comes back, now we're in trouble.
yeah.
So
So, like I said, when she's seen what emotion causes, right? Well, maybe not
yeah,
firsthand, but like um, it's as far back as like not having someone you love or anything like that, because I mean, it gets in the way of your mission. So who knows
yeah,
what
yeah,
maybe like the obsession of Anakin he has with Padme.
yeah, maybe it's something that she saw in her is with her relationship with Anakin as well, and saying when it gets too
Mm.
personal, then it gets in the
yeah.
way of something. So, but the thing that's
It
kind of weird
clouds
is
your
that she
judgment, as
she
we say.
walked away from the Jedi, I guess. What would you call it? Like not the council, but she walked away from being a Jedi, and now
The
here
Jedi
she's
Order, yeah.
dead Jedi, and here she is training a Jedi. So that was a little weird to me. This year, I thought it was important, especially considering what you just said. You were talking about how long he's been around you, and he in the last 500 years, I've only known one student. Did we just age our droid friend over here with that comment, or
I don't think so, yeah, because I think it's been around for longer than that. But I think it's pointless to go in his archives longer than 500 years, especially for a human. So that's why he didn't go as far as day one from his job, I guess.
yeah,
But he immediately recognized Balin Skull's lightsaber, and he just simply assumed that the other one was for an eventual or potential Padawan. So Uh, but yeah, well, it's not the first time we see like holograms of lightsabers around uh, Hu Yang because I was making a reference to the Clone Wars earlier, and when he is with the younglings and he teaches them how to build a lightsaber, he pops up like a huge hologram with all different lightsabers, and it's pretty funny because I'm a lightsaber collector, and when he projects the hologram, I'm like, okay, that's Mace Windu's hilt, that's
It's
Plo
a
hilt,
checklist. I don't have
that's
that one. I don't have
Anakin's
Yeah,
that
hilt.
one. I don't have that
Yeah,
one.
I
oh,
need
there's
that one.
Obi-Wan's. Yeah, so it's a pretty fun moment in the Clone Wars. I recommend you guys checking it out because you'll learn more about Hu Yang as well at the same time. So
Mm.
you're gonna hit two two stones with one rock.
Two
That's it.
birds with one stone.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So Maggie, what did you? Another little throwback you found that this scene.
Well, I feel like that scene seems exactly like the Darth Maul one and Episode one
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
he is on Tatooine and you see the probe droid. I think he's looking for Anakin, right?
Yeah.
yeah. He's looking
Well.
for Padme.
Yeah.
Padme?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
yeah. It's okay.
So yeah, that scene looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like you said, even the droid sounds
Yeah.
is
The noise
exactly
and
the
everything.
Yeah, they
same.
do.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's cool. They now add stuff from the prequel trilogy. So yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
like it.
Fun sounds. Yeah, I guess I'm not. It doesn't bother me that they reuse like the sound. It's like
No,
more
no,
of
no.
a
I mean,
like of
obviously, it makes
originality in the
sense, right?
scene, but
Yeah. But
yeah,
I mean, even the other probe droid, I think I forget what I was watching. You've heard it before, whether it be the one like we've seen on Hoth
Mm.
or anything else. It's got that familiar kind of like weird communicating sound that has almost like it's talking.
yeah,
We've heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, I thought the exact same thing when it came up. And then again, just like I walked away from Sabine. There was a line I thought was important because, she talks about how she walked away from Anakin and the Jedi Order, just like the way, just like I walked away from Sabine, which is, you know, um, raises a lot of questions. We don't know what's going on. I mean, we'll find out, I guess, as we go, probably through conversations. But
And if
Yeah.
you guys remember the Clone Wars very first season and even the movie,
Hmm.
Ahsoka was not listening at all to Anakin
Yeah,
the
you're
entire
right.
time. And now we have Sabine not listening at all to Ahsoka.
yeah,
So I'm waiting for the moment we're gonna see like maybe a Anakin Force Ghost telling Ahsoka like,
snip.
"See
Yeah,
what you've put me
Yeah, that
through?
would be great.
yeah.
You've put me through the same thing. She's just like
That's
you,
karma.
as rebellious." Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess it's gonna be. I'm sure there's gonna be a little conversation between those two, and they're gonna laugh it out. And she's Asuka's gonna realize, yeah, I guess I was like that, when I first was your Padawan, and I should be, more patient with my student. So yeah,
this here was just a line I thought was really cool. It's something that I think I can use in the future when something, whether it be with my kids, sometimes even the right reasons have the wrong consequence. I thought that was a really cool line that came up.
yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
it's one of those things when like I'm watching something and I hear something like that, I lose the next 5 minutes of the show because my brain went off trying to like put together that thought process because it's not. I don't want to say it's not an easy sentence to understand, but like it just kind of seemed a little weird to me. Um,
yeah,
like the right reasons have the wrong. I'm playing scenarios in my head, and I'm like, wow, that's definitely a thinker for me. So I thought it was cool to have that in there. Then we skipped obviously Sabine over here was finally able
solving
to
the
open up
puzzle.
the Rubik's
Yeah,
cube, and we noticed like you mentioned earlier that this didn't end up being it ended up being a whole other galaxy. Obviously not very well explained here. Obviously it was very quick, um,
yeah.
but we could see that
Some people thought, they had been taken to the outer rim.
mhm.
Then, we said, well, maybe it's further. Let's go to the unknown region. And then we see that it's totally different galaxy. So,
As we
so
see
many new
Morgan in the
opportunities.
next episode,
Yeah.
so she gets ambushed obviously from from the pro droid. Shin knew exactly where she
Not probe,
was.
HK droid.
Oh, okay, HK droid. So, what are you talking? These are HK droids?
Yeah.
No, I mean, the probe droids knew where Sabine was,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, sorry.
so they were able to ambush her, and then we see without any hesitation. I thought it was a little weird that she took out her lightsaber like that, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
none other than
Well, to slash droids, I guess it's the perfect weapon.
no, but she took that out before Shin did anything, right? When she saw Shin, she immediately took it out and almost looked surprised when Shin had one of her own, which was weird because it was right on her belt. But she had a
Mm-hmm.
look of shock when Shin. I don't know if you remember, but it was something that kind of surprised me the way that she was surprised. That maybe there was someone else still out there with force or evil
Mm-hmm.
or something of that sort. We had our battle. This to me, I thought was a little bit of a better battle. I think one of my probably more of my favorite battles that we've seen is we see what like 3 or 4 in the first 2 episodes, but
Mm-hmm.
this is one that I liked a little bit better. I don't know what you
Yeah, and we
guys.
clearly felt that Shin Ali was more prepared for such a fight
Yeah,
than Sabine was. Because
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess she hadn't been practicing for a while now, so
mm,
she's if she has some sort of connection with the Force, perhaps she lost it a little bit like Obi-Wan lost it, during these days of solitude on Tatooine. So,
so we had
and then surprise, surprise,
yeah.
she gets stabbed.
As Ahsoka is trying to come back and reach her, yeah. So that's the stab, and a stab that would kill a Jedi Master like Qui-Gon Jinn, but
Argon, yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
well, like in less than 3 seconds, I was like, okay, she's dead. But and I immediately knew that no, she can't be dead because we saw her in the
short hair.
trailers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. In the
But,
banner of
but I
the
was
Facebook
like,
page, yeah. So
whoa, okay, I didn't see that coming for sure.
I saw where she
So
stabbed as well, and I'm like, well, I mean, it can't be, and she didn't. I just know why
vital
she didn't finish
organ.
her off, but I mean, it is what it is, right? So
Well, thank God Ahsoka arrived because she might have finished her.
yeah, so
Yeah, maybe.
that's where the episode ended, and I thought in a very classy move at the end of the first episode, um, sent
Yeah,
a message
little.
for our friend Ray Stevenson. It's just
Yeah.
again, I'm a little upset. I mean, I was sad to hear of his passing, but like after watching the series, he instantly became my favorite character in the series so
Mhm.
far.
Mm.
And we didn't see it as much in this episode, but in the next one we see more. There's a lot of emotion and
Yeah.
struggle, and we'll get to that. But it just it's going to be unfortunate. I hope that they find a way to wrap it up and at least finish his story within this series. So
Well,
Yeah.
my guess, especially after seeing the second episode, when he seems to have some sort of regret to maybe having to kill Ahsoka at some point.
well, we're
I'm
not
like,
there yet,
okay, well,
but
they took the time to add some depth to that character,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he made the ultimate sacrifice at the end to save
Yeah,
Ahsoka.
probably.
yeah.
He gets a moment of lucidity at the end, and he gets the call of the light side of the Force. But anyways, so what are your thoughts of episode one? In my opinion, thank God there was a second episode right away because
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
would have felt so weird to stop there.
Well, we've gone over it, right? And I think that obviously they have to try to catch up. They have to balance the people who watched Rebels and people who didn't watch it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So managing a little bit of the expectations, give a little bit to the casual fans, give a little bit to the loyal fans. You really have a lot of people to please in this process. So,
Hmm.
and it can't be easy. It really can't be easy to get that formula. Um, you know, I think Dave Filoni has his style with the animation, and I think it transferred into this. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but it does provide some continuity, whether it be just the when they're talking like to each other, the script and everything. I find it's really got that animation type feel of
Yeah.
Rebels. So someone who didn't watch it would probably be like, this is kind of weird, right? Like it's not as fluid as the Mandalorian.
Hmm.
But again, having watched Rebels, it works. So,
Yeah,
Maggie, what do you think about the?
and yeah,
Well, like I said before, I only watched few episodes of Rebels, so to be honest, yes, I was a bit lost, but I still think that episode one was my favorite
of the
because
two.
of the two, yeah.
Hmm.
And every time I see someone get stabbed in the chest, I feel bad for Qui-Gon because for him,
Yeah,
he's the only one who died
He was
from it.
soft.
So
He was soft.
it
I
was
don't
old.
know. It bothers me every time I see it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And Don, what about you? What were
Yeah.
your thoughts on it?
Well, I liked it to be honest, but uh, as I kind of let it slip, the two episodes fit so well together, and for the folks who did not watch Rebels, I think it sets the table perfectly for what is coming, and they should not have too many questions. Or if they do, hey, send us a message on a live and
But
or on the
it's
Facebook page, and we'll gladly answer them. But uh, I mean, the, what you need to know, you know it.
yeah. Well, it's like you
It's
said.
told.
Like I mean, let's face it. Everyone. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you've seen the first two episodes. So, I mean, yes, we know about Balin being torn to have to do what he needs to do. I guess with
Hmm.
Ahsoka, but it's like I find in the first two episodes, they did what they needed to do to move on to the story. Like hopefully, as of episode three, okay, let's go. This is we've given
Yeah,
you your recap, kind of like
set
vaguely,
it to the table.
yeah,
Yeah,
and let's move on. So we'll do the same thing. Move on to the second episode, but before
yeah.
that, just a reminder as usual: like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We also have the super chats as a reminder as well. So if you want to send us super chats, or if you just at any time send messages, Julianne is here. Says hi guys, bonsoir. So hi Julianne.
Yes, Julianne has probably just finished her own
Her yeah.
podcast with our fans
Oh,
at Star Wars on Direct. I hope it went well for you guys as well. So yeah, definitely fun
And
to.
it's as a reminder also, if you've seen it on our webpage or on the Facebook page, we have the T-shirt was inspired by the Ahsoka series. I don't know who designed that, but it's a pretty cool logo if you ask me.
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
I
kind of
don't know
know. I kind of
who
know
did
who did
that.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, and do we mention is Marie Claude? I mean, we mention her all the time, but like, I mean, she's the one that does basically all of our not these graphics that you see in the back now. Those are my cheap kind of graphics, the Star Wars Artifacts background, but like the logo and all of our intro kind of like thumbnails and
all the
YouTube.
thumbnails for the Star Wars Artifact
Yeah,
show are done by Marie Claude.
Yeah.
She completely redesigned our logo with all our crazy suggestions.
They're not
Sometimes
that
during
crazy.
yeah, long
well
conversations and could you
long
just move this
processes, yeah.
over, move this here, move this there? But yeah, she it was anyway.
She
Couldn't be
pulled
happier
the
with the end
truth,
result. Yeah,
and
Stop that. I'm getting
I
shy.
don't know.
sometimes while we were having some lives, Eric and I, we give a shout out to House of Naboo.
Yeah,
That's
That's
her.
me.
So
I'm out
yeah,
of
just
Naboo.
like Julianne
she's
in
House of
House of
Naboo.
Naboo. So if you
Yeah,
want, go and follow that. Go find it, Maggie. It's what on Instagram? Is it just
she's on
simply
Yeah,
Instagram
Instagram.
mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Instagram?
you.
So go give her a
So
follow if you
yeah,
haven't. And
and if you like the design, if you like the T-shirt, I mean, go to Redbubble and check out SW Artifacts on Redbubble, and you'll find this T-shirt. Or check the Facebook page. I think I have posted a link directly to the at the top of the page, so
if
you'll
Rebels is
find
not
it
your
pretty
thing,
easy.
you've got our new logo available as well. If you want to just have that
Yeah,
Yeah.
on there. So
And we also have the gold edition, right?
yeah,
yeah, of
the special edition we've done our Galaxy's Edge edition that
Yeah.
we're
hmm
going to be having, which I should probably get on ordering that soon enough.
Me
So
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But without any further ado, let's move on to the second episode called Toil and Trouble. And
hmm
we were wondering what toil meant, but it's even after looking it up, it meant kind of like hard work or something. So not super clear to me, but just I don't know, it's just a title anyway. So as we can see here, obviously Sabine survived. We didn't really see the whole scoop up and everything like that, but she
Dun,
seems to be
dun,
okay. Yeah.
dun.
So we already know
What a
she's
surprise.
she's just a Padawan, but already much stronger than Qui Gon Jinn.
Yeah,
For him.
Then
that little stone edge thing right there, it reminded me a lot of when Grogu was sitting on the Seeing Stone
Oh yeah, yeah,
in
you're
The
right.
yeah,
Mandalorian. Yeah, it gave me some vibes. But that obviously is clearly not the same location.
what that
That planet
reminded
is
me
called
is that
Pitos.
it would make such a nice little lightsaber holder, little
Mm,
kind of like statue
True.
like that.
yeah.
When I
Mm-hmm.
first saw those hooks like that, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the lightsaber holders that you
Yeah.
can buy. Yeah. Anyway, that's just my little side note. But could you imagine a nice little like kind of like ceramic kind of thing like that that you could put your lightsaber on? I think it'd be cool.
Would be cool.
Don't steal
Yeah.
my idea. I'm gonna sue you. And this is where we get much more context, Dom, that you brought some up, but like about the additional universe, right? Where they gave more of a story as to where Thrawn was or speculated to be at this point.
Yeah. So, well, they basically put the little sphere that they stole from Sabine on that pedestal there, and then moments later, Morgan arrives and she uses her magic to, activate, I guess, the map. And everybody thought it was the world between worlds when we saw all the
Hmm.
little glyphs and lights in the trailer. But I was kind of relieved it wasn't
Yeah.
because I'm not the biggest fan of the world between worlds, but I'll save that maybe for a future episode. But yeah,
Oh, I just
uh,
want to say something.
yeah.
Julian just said in the chat, did you know that the episode title is a reference to Macbeth?
Oh no, that I didn't know.
I
Thank
wouldn't
you,
have known
Julian, for your input. Yeah.
because I loathed Shakespeare when I was in school, so I hated reading it. So I wouldn't have known, but it's very interesting to and
She said
thanks for providing it.
it's a part of the song
Of the
of the
witches,
witches. Oh, okay, okay.
double double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Wow.
It's
Thank you so much
interesting.
for your input, Julian. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's no way I would have known that. I tried to when I finished school, I stayed away from, but super cool.
Our friend Julianne is a librarian, so
Ah, there you go. That
it
explains it.
explains a lot. She got all the knowledge
She's the person, so
yeah,
So
near her hands at the reach of her hands. So it's pretty cool.
so
Thanks,
yeah.
Julianne.
there was this part here that we saw with Ahsoka going back to the I guess a communication tower, like the old Sabine's kind of like home, and she was. Had we seen? I mean, we've seen it, I guess, in the before, but she was really picking up echoes, right? Like, and again, I think a Fallen Order when you're going back and getting all the echoes and gathering the echoes and all that stuff. But she was really walking around and kind of reliving, I guess, Sabine's what she had just gone through. I don't know what you thought of that.
Very reminiscent of Cal Kestis' power.
Yeah, that's it. So reminded me of that part, so I thought it was important.
Yeah.
And obviously, because I think it was Sabine that mentioned, right, that there was a droid. She asked what happened to it or whatnot, so she knew that he was still in there. I love the way he kind of popped off the ceiling, kind of like in Aliens, like when you would see
Mm-hmm.
them in there, they just kind of like creep off the ceiling and land.
Yeah.
Took the helmet, well, the head basically, and brought it back to Sabine again for her, with her knowledge of tech, and find out where it came from. Basically, is what they were trying to get down to. I thought this
Just
pattern.
saying good night to James who has to go to work tomorrow. So
Oh, okay.
thanks for
Yeah.
taking with us
Have a good
until
night.
that point, James. So we'll see you next week, my friend.
So
That
obviously,
part was funny.
yeah, yeah. When it was trying to, it was about to blow up from overheating or whatnot, and but they did get the job done in the end, and figuring out that the droid came from Corellia. Dom,
I thought it
thoughts?
was funny that the only one being worried about the explosion was the droid, and not the two humans.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. But yeah, Corellia is the own planet of Han Solo, which we saw in the Solo movie, but it was also a huge shipyard used by the Empire, and it's also where the Millennium Falcon was built.
Hmm.
All the I don't know the actual name of the ship. It's a YT 2000. That's maybe you can search on the web to see the model of the Millennium Falcon. But yeah, that's where they were built. Same thing for Dash Rendar's Outrider in the Shadows of the Empire video game.
Jeez.
So yeah, I'm going back Marilyn again tonight. So
One of the best video games. That was really the next
oh
step
yeah, I
into
love
Star
that
Wars.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hoth scene
Hmm.
and everything was just like wow. That's what
Epic.
got me to
Yeah,
buy the N64. So that was basically the thing that.
yeah,
So I mean, obviously, Hera wasn't too worried about it exploding, right? Because I
Not
mean,
at
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. Funny thing, she was
yeah,
not around.
like you
Not
said,
too
the
many
New
risks.
Republic shipyard.
Well, yeah,
Um,
after the victory of the rebellion, the rebels, the New Republic, they converted all those Imperial shipyards into New Republic shipyards. So they're reusing or recycling the components or the parts of the ship to make better
which
use
is
of those.
coincidentally what we saw, like right, the Empire do um, after the fall of the, I guess, the Republic, or like in Fallen Order, right at the beginning of the first game, that they're working on the ship and
Yeah,
Yeah.
scrapping all the. So it's almost come like
The
full circle.
ships
Yeah.
and
yeah, it's on Brekka.
And then we get, this is where, it's what Dom alluded to before. We get a little bit more knowledge about the worlds and everything. And Dom, I don't know if there's anything you want to add here. I mean,
Well, those little designs that we see, the one going down, is an illustration of a Purgle.
yeah.
So the yellow line that we see between the sphere and the projection up in the air is, well, not that one, but the one that goes diagonally. We kind of see it on that
yeah,
picture. Um, is the pathway of the Purgles that they use from one point to the other. So they need to know the start point of this path to be able to reach the end point and ultimately uh, find where Grand Admiral Tron is. So, and this route is used by the Purgles.
okay,
So we kind of see them in the trailers. I don't want to spoil anybody's experience, but yeah, we get to see some Purgles at some point in the trailer. So we'll obviously try to follow them to where they are located actually. So that's a to be continued story.
yeah. I mean, do you see Morgan's kind of hearing, or says that Thrawn's calling to her? You heard this kind of like gibberish noise, at one
Hmm.
point. Um, and then
There's a line. So
yeah,
yeah. So the galaxy at the bottom is the galaxy we've always known, and the one at the top is where Ezra and Tron are expected to be found. So
hmm.
it's a long way around.
And then this is a line that was pretty interesting. It says what happens
Yeah,
when we find Thrawn. Um, and then Balin answered, it was for some
because
war.
in the trailer they skipped like two sentences, and
Yeah,
in the trailer we already see, or here I should say, powers as you've never dreamed.
yeah,
But there's some more between those two lines, so I'll let you go with it.
yeah. So it said, so, when she asked that, he says, for some war, for others, a new beginning. And then he goes, for us, power such as you've never dreamed. So it makes you wonder, like, they've got their own agenda, right? Somewhere in there. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, there's a reason why they're assisting with this. So it's,
They're being loyal to Morgan for as long as it suits them, I
yeah,
guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
They don't do that for free.
No.
No.
So it's I'm very curious to know what's gonna happen. I mean, we know Thrawn's in the series. I mean, we've seen him in the trailer
Hmm.
and all this stuff, and so I'm very curious. Like, I just want to see Thrawn at this point. So it's
Yeah.
like I waited enough. Okay, I got through 2 episodes, and I'm glad that we wait 1 week and we could jump to episode 3. But don't want to digress too much. And here is when we had gotten to Corellia, I guess at this point. And
Yes.
Hmm.
yeah, and this
Funny
nitty or
thing, it's a New Republic shipyard, and the first droid we see is a Death Star droid designed by our friend
is it Brian Muir?
Brian Muir. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that's
legendary
the minute
Brian
I
Muir.
saw it, I'm like, here we go. And this was right the concept C3PO, is it, or Ralph McQuarrie, or am I wrong here?
I think it's Walter Quarry. Yeah,
Yeah. So, but yeah, the minute I saw his helmet, I'm like, because we had spoken about it with him in our interview, right? About
yeah.
seeing his helmet come back again, and here it is again, one more time. And this guy was another one that was being a little bit of a, kind of arrogant prick, I guess you could say. But
Yeah, well, he
Yeah.
always has roles like that. I mean,
yeah,
I saw him in the next Netflix series called Colony, and he was a true pain in the butt.
yeah. The
And we
typecast, right?
all
That's what these guys kind of like. People that get roles like that. He's not going to play someone's heartwarming uncle, right? In another
no,
movie,
for
right?
sure.
So it's
Yeah.
And we also saw him in the Fear the Walking Dead. So yeah,
hmm. uh,
so he gives them a little tour of the shipyard, trying to convince them that everything is going pretty smooth. We're recycling hyperdrives for other purposes,
well, the line I put
and
here is what I thought was interesting. Is like asking about employing the former staff, right?
mhm,
And their loyalties and everything, and basically something like she says something like their loyalty is to money and greed, right? So it's not
yeah.
to
Mm.
the
As long as they get a paycheck, they'll
exactly.
they'll be loyal to anybody
We'll
who
do the
pays them.
work.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is another line that I thought, because I mean we see Sabine having a conversation and like talking about questioning herself and whatnot. She wants to get back into it, and saying that she's wasting her time. And I thought this was a pretty cool line. It's the only time that you're wasting is your own.
Mm.
Yeah, and we see the mods that she did to Ezra's lightsaber with the U-shaped emitter. The
Like
other one
Cal.
had a yeah, kind of Cal Kestis' lightsaber. So yeah, and he notices the mods he did, and he tells her, well, I saw it. You made your own
Yeah, it's yours now.
improvements or mods to this. Yeah, so that's not Ezra's saber anymore. So
I'm wondering though
that's
about
pretty
Ezra,
cool.
right? Well, I guess we can speculate, but like they're going out trying to find Thrawn, but like where is Ezra, right? Like in all this, where is he going to fit in? I'm very curious to see how that's going to
Hmm. How
develop.
did he manage to escape? Is Tron's Star Destroyer?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he ended up escaping
Hmm.
that ship, at some point. So pretty funny. And when I see that picture of the lightsaber, I'm wondering when are they going to release that lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge?
Next week.
Because they
Hopefully.
have
Next week.
already released Ezra's, and when they released it, it was like Ezra Bridger's second lightsaber.
Hmm.
They were very specific with the name of the
Yeah.
lightsaber,
Yeah.
so I'm waiting for Sabine. No, Ezra Bridger's second lightsaber modified by Sabine. Kind of a new lightsaber coming out,
Hmm.
with Sabine mods or something. So yeah,
Probably in 2 weeks or something like that. So
if it's in the league, that's totally fine with me because I'll be there in 4 weeks.
A cool piece to pick up live though, to pick up in person for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah.
that's one thing I think I'm most worried about, and we're completely digressing, but is to go into that store and just leave with something. So I got to be careful, because that's what got me to buy Cal's lightsabers. Like the girl was showing me, and I'm like, oh, this one's calling to me, and
Count on me to tempt you even more. I mean,
no, I'm not going in that
I,
store with you. Forget
I,
it.
I'll go all Palpatine and you saying, do
Dark
it,
Ondor, yeah,
do it.
I don't want to go there with them behind me.
I'll be the little devil on
Yeah,
your shoulder
exactly.
saying, you should buy it.
Yeah,
Buy
exactly.
it now.
Do it. Do it. So moving on here, can train if Ahsoka doesn't want to teach me another kind of like key of the story that's kind of developing is trying to piece together what happened. And so again, we'll probably find out a little bit later, a little bit clearer. We find out here. I mean, some of the story is developing as well, but and then we find out that the whole time, back on Corellia, that there was that, and for me, this one for the Empire is like the whole time there's still some kind of loyalty, and
Mm.
Yeah,
coincidentally she was talking about the loyalty to to the Empire. It's not even that. It's not even greed. There is still these people there that are loyal to the
yeah,
Empire.
and they were betrayed by the protocol droid. That was funny as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh yeah, there was an HK droid before he left. Well, he's on that ship, leaving with the SSD hyperdrive. So it was like, okay,
They have
I'm
Snake
sure
Eyes.
he's gonna be terminated in the next few days, but or rewarded because at the end the New Republic arrives and saves the day. But yeah, so when they mentioned SSD hyperdrive, did you get the reference or did you?
Probably not. If
The SSD stands for Superstar Destroyer.
oh man,
Oh.
no.
So that's why Ahsoka says, or I think it's Era, we're not building uh, ships that are that big anymore
Yeah.
because it was a reference to the actual Superstar Destroyer. So, uh, quick little
It's good to know.
Yeah.
tidbit.
There's no
Yeah.
way I would have picked that up.
So yeah. So Era rushes with the Phantom 2 to catch anybody who could be escaping with the hyperdrive, and Ahsoka goes to face this former Inquisitor. I say former because even though he still has the suit, there are no such thing as the Inquisitorius anymore. When the Empire was defeated, the Inquisitorius project was disbanded as well. So any Inquisitor who were still alive at that time became unemployed. Now that Vader was gone, so uh, he's still sporting his double-bladed circular lightsaber, but he's not officially a member of the Inquisitorius.
He's got a good
He's
mix of
probably
Knights of Ren slash Inquisitor look to him. I find.
yeah. I
Yeah,
like
that's
his
true.
suits. I think even more than some of the other Inquisitors
Hmm.
in Obi Wan.
Yeah.
He has a pretty cool suit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
cape
love the
is good
cake.
accent. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
and the
So
way he lets it go, it's very
yeah.
Kurosawa
Yeah, I
ish.
love that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. And then we see Chopper at his best.
Being
Uh,
Chopper.
yeah, Chopper being, with his attitude and everything, he was just perfect. And
Trying to
even
find.
though he was saying some stuff like, wah, 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 at some time I could
You can
decipher what he
almost
was saying.
Yeah.
She was like, I didn't go through your stuff. And then, wah, wah, wah. I went, yes, you did. It was obvious.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see him interact with the Ghost Crew.
I thought this battle was actually pretty decent too. Again, a little bit more
Right?
simplistic, but still. I mean, she made sure work of the droid, but like, I enjoyed this one maybe a little bit more than the other one as well.
Yeah.
Then you say here the chase is on. This, I mean, without anyone who's seen this, obviously, or if you haven't, go watch. I mean, the scene and the interaction, like you said, with Chopper and Hera and everything like that, was definitely entertaining to try to get the tracking device on there. And then her battle with the Inquisitor. He's got a name, right?
Morak,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, this there you go.
Morak. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, for me, like when I looked at his mask like this, first of all, the weathering, the costume looks incredible.
Yeah.
It really looks like metal, and so
Age with some rust on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Why someone would choose a mask like that is beyond me because the visibility must be horrifying. But
I was about to say because it looks pretty cool.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's it, right? It looks cool.
It's just for the look.
Yeah, it looks like that. Someone's going jousting or something like that. But I just like
Yeah.
it can be easy to see through that. But anyway,
Hmm.
overall, he looks absolutely incredible. Like you said, the weathering on it, the metal, the imperfections of the what looks like it's I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing him in some cosplay or 501st group soon.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
So
You-
he
I like the way he recalled his lightsaber,
Oh yeah, that was so cool.
and Ahsoka being just
yeah,
cool as
like
she
just
ever
kind of
was.
moving over, like, all right, take it
Yeah,
back. Like I thought that
still on the
was,
side. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
that was almost arrogant to him, as in like, okay, take your toy back, get out of here, right? Like,
mhm.
but so obviously the tracking device was thrown on by Chopper with a little fist pump
Yeah.
after succeeding, and because she said something like, don't miss this time or something like that, right? Like before throwing
And
it. So
we could decipher it was a I never miss as well.
yeah, yeah, it was,
When is
yeah. And then we obviously the ship gets away, but with the tracking device, and we come back to Sabine, who's laid
on
out
the top.
her
Mm.
Mando
Yeah,
outfit.
she decides to to resume or to go back to Ahsoka as her apprentice. So
I
um,
find that this has got like, I mean, it was going to happen anyway, but this is the part where I think the more casual fans going to be like, oh yeah, Mando,
Yeah.
like
mhm.
cool, yeah, Mandalorians are back, or she's a Mando. This cool. Might not have caught the fact that it was under her desk at first, or might we would have spotted, but this is like, here you
Yeah,
go. Here's a little bit like what you're familiar with, right? So, maybe that could have maybe won some fans over. Again, I think that, and I've seen it myself. We'll talk about it after, about some of the impressions that we've gone through already. But like, I think that this was a little bit of like, if you're in it for the Mandos and you like Mandos, there's something good coming up for you, right?
hmm
And it's kind of like, here's some kind of like ritual kind of
It feels
Japanese
yeah,
samurai ritual with the
yeah,
it
cutting
feels
the
like
air.
Mulan.
yeah, like a
Yeah,
ceremonial kind of like, and then followed with her chopping of the
and
hair. You find she's really going back to her roots, to what she was in Rebels. Like she's ready to go back, right? To
and for those who watched Rebels, Kanan Jarrus went into the same kind of ritual before going to rescue Hera while she was captive from by Admiral Tron. So he cuts his little ponytail and
you should have cut
he
that
cuts
after
his
episode
hair.
2.
Yeah,
That thing was.
yeah, that's it. Well, yeah, Julianne is saying just what I just said. Yeah, so Kanan, yeah, he did this very same thing with the same kind of knife.
Yeah.
So very good homage to the Japanese samurai movies. I guess Kurosawa. I've not seen a lot of Kurosawa stuff, but
There's no mention of
I
him
wouldn't be
either, right? In
surprised.
the first 2 episodes, unless I missed it, but
They no mention of Kanan. We
yeah,
just see him on the mural.
yeah,
And same
Uh,
thing for Zeb. They
Same thing
didn't.
for Zeb. You're right.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
yeah, same thing for Zeb. And
Uh,
then, well,
yeah.
she gets in touch with Ahsoka, saying, I'm ready to resume my training, and I'm ready to help you do this." And as we see behind her, that's a mural we were referencing to. But yeah, and we get the confirmation that Ahsoka accepts her back, by her side. When she says, she doesn't say punch it, Chewie, but she's like, okay, go for it, Padawan. So, and they go to hyperspace. But well, I guess we want to say, is that you, Eric, who told me that you thought the episode where it was ending
I thought
at a
three
few
times I thought it
different
was finished.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought like, so. I thought, I think after this, I thought it was over. I thought possibly after this would be over. Then after this, I'm ready. I'm like, okay. And then we stood in front of the
And
mural, see, reunites with Ahsoka, and I thought that this was gonna be the send off. Nope.
when they go to
Cuts to
hyperspace,
this. I'm
they're
like,
gone. Yeah,
geez, man.
that's
I'm
it.
like, are you guys gonna wrap this up? Like, it's just
Hmm.
not that you're not enjoying it, but you're just like, it's just weird the way. And we'll get into it. We'll save our opinions for the end. We're right there, but like,
Yeah.
just weird. And then here's, I put the line here, and we shall deliver Grand Admiral Thrawn from his exile in the far galaxy. So, she's got her agenda, but we know that like Balin, from what we just heard, has probably got his own as
Absolutely.
well,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
And then I think the final one is, the line you mentioned earlier. I mean, to kill her would be a shame because
Hmm.
that's his job. And this, I find these holograms look way too clean and crisp compared to
Mm.
everything we've seen in the past. I mean, he's even got like a
Yeah.
special filter on his, where like this kind of like dust kind of flowing around, and like I'm nitpicking now, but like I just find that like
Well,
it's not true to
maybe
the
it's just
originals.
Knight's sister technology.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know.
they're on 4K.
With the magic
They got
thing.
better Wi-Fi,
Uh,
maybe. I don't know.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. So on that, the overall wrap up for me, I thought, obviously that we've caught up. We know kind of what's been going on. I hope it moves on a little bit faster. Uh, my personal kind of like experience with casual fans and people, even not so casual fans, is the fact that if you haven't watched Rebels, they're completely lost.
Mm.
Completely
Hmm.
lost, right? It's not even close. Even with what they're trying to do, they seem to be, like kind of like what the hell's going on. And the fans, even that are familiar with it, still thought that it was a little bit slow because, again, you got to
They
cater
do
to multiple
also
people, right?
something
You got
going
to
on.
cater to
Yeah.
the people like, we're ready, we know it, right? Move on, let's go,
Hmm.
let's go. Episode, like season 5, let's. But then it's Hollywood. You got to try to like capture your base, but
Yeah.
with those comments in mind, like, is it too much? That like, did they not do enough, or did they not give enough context? Because even with that, they seem to be lost. So like in my head, I'm like, did you just waste 2 episodes trying to cater to the people who didn't watch Rebels? Because in the end, they're still lost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because I've seen it 4 times now.
Four times.
Yeah, the Rebel series.
I'm so
Uh,
ashamed of myself right now.
I I kind of felt that it kind of gave the viewers all the important details they needed to know to be able to follow what's coming. But I get that some stuff might have been skipped. Well, the whole Grand Admiral thing. The conflict with the Ghost Crew, most importantly, and the Phoenix Squadron cell. But I mean, for those who don't know, by the way, there is like an essential episode playlist on Disney Plus.
Yeah, we
Mm.
posted it on
That,
the
like,
Facebook group, so go check it
yeah,
out.
so which episode you should absolutely watch before maybe moving on to, because the way the second episode is ending is the same way the epilogue at the final episode of the Rebel series ends. So what happened during those 2 episodes kind of happened between the final moments of the final episode of the season and the epilogue of that episode. So we've just seen, meanwhile in the Star Wars universe,
Yeah,
it's like a parenthesis, and now the real thing is going to begin next week.
but there's also the fact that like we know Ahsoka's story. But the thing is, like, there's also the Rebels, and they're trying to catch you up almost on 2 series, right? We saw
Mm.
Ahsoka
Hmm.
and Mandalorian, but not everyone's. We're still not really fairly familiar. Then you
Yeah,
hear her talking about Anakin and being his Padawan. And to some people, that's news to them, right? Like, so it's like,
yeah.
what's going on here? Then you have the characters, they have the mural. There's 2 people you don't even talk about. And to be honest, they looked at that mural. They don't even know what that is. It could be a whole bunch of people that they don't
Mm.
know
Hmm.
who
Really
Ezra
are.
is, and
Hmm.
what his story is. What's his relationship? Are they lovers? And then they say something like I love you like a sister. Like they're like, what's going on here, right? So there's a lot of catching up to do, and it's hard to, again, you don't want to go back and you can't do a recap, right? Because it's animation. You don't want to redo scenes in real
Yeah,
life and stuff. So
and
it's just
I guess it's the main problem. It's the fifth season of an animated series, but in live action.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
without even really saying it, right? So it's called Ahsoka. It's
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
Rebels season 5, but the show is called Ahsoka, who's Anakin's Padawan, and you're just like trying to find out like, okay, well, why is it that she was you know, she's a Jedi. Well, she left the Jedi Order, and then
Hmm.
she did the same thing. She left Anakin. Just like so, there's a lot to unravel, and I understand, you know, the people who might not have watched the animated series to understand what's going on. I hope it
Yeah,
doesn't hurt the series, and I hope that like this is done. Let's move on and let's move on with the story, assuming that okay, you're kind of caught up, and in the end, like I think that if episode three moves on, which is going to find Thrawn, and like will it have wasted two episodes on that? You know,
Mm.
yeah.
because like you hit the ground running with Mando, right? Like it is what it is, and I don't find that this story hit the ground running. I feel like they took two episodes to go back and try to
Explain stuff.
cater, yeah,
Yeah,
try to cater to both the people who watched Rebels and those who didn't, and it was a weird kind of recipe
Yeah.
to deal with. But so far, honestly, I'm not. I didn't think it was the greatest thing. I don't hate it by any means. It's nowhere near my favorite of this series so far. That'll always remain Andor, and as much as I liked Mandalorian, even season three
yeah.
Mandalorian, I'm so on. But I find that um, it's setting up hopefully for much bigger things and more interesting things in the following episodes. So
Hmm. Definitely. But on the other side of the middle, those who watched the Clone Wars and Rebels are kind of rewarded
Yeah.
for
absolutely,
their time and effort.
yeah,
I mean, I was so thrilled to have rewatched Clone Wars for the fifth or sixth time, and Rebels all over again. I was like, wow, okay, I remember now. I remember all those stuff, and I can find all the Easter eggs and the tidbits and the circumstances, and even in the music. They didn't take the time to talk about Kevin Kinder's soundtrack, but he's the guy behind the Clone Wars, Rebels, and the Bad Batch
yeah,
series. He's done the music for those shows, and I could clearly hear Ahsoka's theme at some point, and Sabine's theme, the little kind of melancholic melody we hear for Sabine.
hmm,
Mm.
So I was like, oh wow, I'm submerged by all sorts of vibes. I had some goosebumps at some point just with the music. So
hmm.
uh, uh, I felt rewarded for those efforts. And
And we've tried. I mean, I think we've said it in the past, and I've told almost anyone who's mentioned it to me, hey, Ahsoka, like, there's a new series coming out. I'm like, yeah, if you can, try to catch up. I gave him the cheat list, the cheat sheet of
Mhm.
you got to watch these episodes. You're going to invest maybe, I think I calculated roughly 4 to 5 hours of your time,
Okay.
but like, it's,
It's worth it.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just
Well,
like
you,
anything
you said
else.
lose 4 or 5 hours. It's not lose. It's an investment.
No, but that's what I said. I said, yeah, you're gonna have
Yeah.
to you're gonna invest about 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
of your
Okay.
time. But like,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I think that, like you said, you're rewarded by putting that, even if it's minimal. Obviously, in a perfect world, you watch the whole thing, but there's a lot of filler episodes, right? I mean, you watch
Yeah.
the animated series, and whether it be Clone Wars
I
and
think it's worse in the Clone Wars, but uh,
Well, the first season of Rebels, it was hard to watch, according to me.
yeah.
okay.
I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just rewatched it, and I thought that like a lot of this
And it's a
stuff.
huge tradition in the type of animation as well.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
prefer the
maybe.
type of animation in the Clone Wars personally. And I think I've said it not 100 times. I'm a huge lightsaber fan, so seeing all the Jedi's, it's pretty. To me, that's Star Wars, I guess. But I kind of fell in love with the Ghost Crew and all the little relationship. They're a family.
it's the same thing as
They're
Clone
all
Wars, though.
orphans.
I think it took a couple seasons to really,
Hmm.
like the first season, you feel like it's the same thing as Clone Wars. It's a little bit more based for children, or and
Mm.
then after that, it gets a bit more mature after a while. But
Yeah.
you have to fight through it, if
Yeah,
it's
because I
Hmm.
remember when they releases the first season of Clone Wars, people were like, "Oh my God, Ahsoka is so annoying. I don't like her."
yeah,
And see, after many years, I think. Now
Yeah,
she's one of the favorites. So
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. You're totally right. I mean,
She was
I think
the center point of the season 7, right? It was all pretty much it was her
mm,
yeah,
season, right? So
yeah. Ahsoka being the badass Force user she can be in a good way. I mean,
well, who was
so
yeah.
it that made the comment at one point? They're like, "Oh, we're finally gonna give Ahsoka her own series." Like, yeah, it was called Clone Wars. Like that was her
yeah,
series, right? Like, so it's just like it's a
it's a
continuation, like you
continuity.
said, it's a continuation of both those series, both animated series in a way. But
She was less present in Rebels,
yeah,
but when she was there, it was impactful.
yeah,
Yeah.
So she was there when they were to Marban. When she helped confront the Inquisitors and Darth Maul, and
I love that.
ultimately Darth Vader.
yeah.
So yeah,
Best
those
episode in the whole
that
series.
episode,
Yeah,
Yeah.
perhaps, yeah,
yeah,
definitely, yeah. So it was epic, because we knew about Vader, and we knew his relationship with Ahsoka. So it was it was really intense. So yeah, with the split helmet,
Oh yeah.
it was the first time that we saw that in the Kenobi series. But I was like, no, they just split it on the other side,
Um.
yeah.
because it's we see Anakin's face, the right portion of his face in
Yeah.
Rebels, and we see the left portion of it.
It was
So
that was like one of the most impactful moments I think in all the animated series was when she
Mm.
saw him there, and it's just and we got to see it again, um, almost like an
in
homage to that
Kenobi,
scene, yeah, in Kenobi, and that was even like I'm telling you, I got emotional when it happened in Kenobi. It was
I
crazy.
was
So
expecting Vader to say, "Not again."
yes, yeah,
Palpatine's gonna be so angry at
yeah,
me.
yeah. How many helmets am I gonna go through now?
Yeah.
But so anyway, I mean, I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts on the series, but like for me,
Well, on
it's
a positive note, I can't wait for next week's
yes,
episode.
yes,
I
and
mean,
Mm.
like you said,
I'm
thank God we
pumped
got
because
both right away, right?
yeah, we got rid of the previously
Yeah,
in Ahsoka's life, parenthesis, and now let's kick off things, and we're gonna see. We didn't show you guys a capture, but there's this huge hyperspace ring we see at the end, like the one we see in the prequels, that the
oh
Jedi
yeah,
Starfighter use to travel to hyperspace. That hyperspace ring
It's
is
huge.
yeah, yeah. I
huge.
should have put that in there.
You would assume it's for a Star Destroyer, but if it was for Tron Star Destroyer, I'm wondering how it's gonna be used. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty epic to see what's gonna. They call it the Eye of Sion. So I mean, I can't wait to see how they use it, uh, and what's next for us. So
And I
yeah,
hope you will see some flashback from Clone Wars. And
we will. I don't know if it's
and I,
next week,
and I
but we
wish
will.
they will give us a scene with Anakin Force Ghost. Sorry.
Yeah,
Ghost, yeah.
Yeah. And
I might even see a
that's all.
flashback with
Uh,
her, right? Like I mean, with her and him, who knows? I mean, they'd have to
yeah.
DH her as well, I guess, or find a way. But like, it'd be cool to see them both on screen together.
I don't know. Maybe they could use, since she's much smaller than Rosario, Ashley
Oh
Eckstein
my god, if they
as a
pulled that,
flashback.
yeah,
Oh,
if they,
that will be
oh my
epic.
god, who knows? They might
People are
have a
going to go
surprise.
insane.
I
I
think
mean,
I think she deserves a screen time
Yeah.
yeah.
with
Even
with
if it's
Vader.
a non-Ahsoka related, but like a bartender in the
Yeah, a cameo
cantina
of
or
some
Yeah.
something,
sort. Yeah,
cameo. Yeah,
I think she needs to be in there for sure.
she deserves to be there. She revealed that she was on set for the shooting of that series, but she said it was to meet Rosario.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
if she was there, it's a shame if they didn't use her,
Do some.
take advantage of her presence.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it would be cool, but yeah, I can't wait to see how it's gonna pick up. And there was something I wanted to say completely forgot. But
Let's throw out a quick reminder though before, if you know, if you want to support the show, the channel, we got the
mhm,
T-shirt inspired by the series created by none other than Marie Claude, and I guess Dom had a little bit of his input in there, but looks
mostly Mexico. Yeah,
yeah,
mostly
yeah,
MC.
mostly. So if that's on Redbubble under SW Artefacts, it's the best way to find it. And again, t-shirts, you got our regular logo and another special Galaxy's Edge edition. If you want to go on
Hmm.
there, thanks for everyone who joined us in the chat. Um,
Yeah.
don't forget to like, subscribe, and blast the notification bell. Uh,
Mm.
so you get to hear us whenever we're back on. Dom, what's on the schedule for Friday this week?
Well, this Friday, I'm gonna give you guys my review of the Ahsoka Tano half-scale bust from Gentle Giant. It's a limited edition of 1,000 pieces. I know you guys are gonna say, "Well, that's old. It came out in 2020, 2021." Sorry, and you're totally right. But in 2021, the Ahsoka series was announced, and I said, "Well, I'll hang on to it and use it to serve the momentum and the wave of the Ahsoka series." And then the series was delayed, and here we are 2 years later, and
Finally.
deep into 2023.
That's
And
exactly what I was thinking when you said the Ahsoka bus. I'm like, wait, that is so 2021. And like it's
yeah, I know, but the collectors will know. So
yeah, for sure.
so it's going to be released this Friday in both French and English. Even though if I'm in Toronto, I'll be able to publish it on the Facebook page before I leave for the convention. But yeah, it's going to be pretty fun, and we're going, all the way Ahsoka down the next few weeks. So we're going to see a lot of Ahsoka related product reviews. The lightsaber box set is up in the pipeline. There's also the 332nd Clone Division helmet that was released not so long ago by the Black Series. And we have another statue from Gentle Giant uh, from about Ahsoka from the Clone Wars animated series. So it's going to be all Ahsoka for the next couple of weeks. So check it out if you have the time and if you're interested or intrigued by the product that will be reviewed. I expect to meet Ashley Eckstein Friday at the Fan Expo. So maybe I'll have to edit my review of the Legacy Lightsaber Limited Edition box set, because if I get to have her sign my saber, then I think it's going to be a cool update to add to the review. So stay tuned if you don't want to miss it.
Cool.
I'm done.
Annie, what did you think? What did you think of your first experience?
Experience.
Well, now I'm okay. I should.
You should not be.
Sorry.
Yeah, you should not be worried if we invite you again.
No. Right now I'm feeling great, and it
Good.
wasn't that bad. It just at the beginning I was shy, but right now I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah,
cool. I can do it
Yeah,
again.
I
don't
guess
go
it's the
back
first
and
5 minutes.
yeah, I don't go back and rewatch our first episodes either. So it's
Our
yeah,
first was like so terrible when you look at it.
no personality, like robots reading the script and all that stuff. It was just
They're
like
all
but,
good the whole time.
hey,
Oh,
we still
Oh,
learn.
the technical difficulties and
Yeah, yeah.
the pictures not appearing at the right
Jeez,
timing.
my
Oh,
laptop that could barely support it and all that. So
good
it's
true, your old
memories.
laptop. Oh my
my
God,
old
those were the
MacBook.
days.
Hey, that MacBook got me through a lot. So I didn't have any laptop, but I just used to use it for some photos and stuff like that. But it did its job, and now I think we improve every day, and I think to this day I think we get looser and joke around and everything, and don't stick to a
Hmm.
script as much. It's been more fun. So I mean, I think
Yeah.
everyone has their first time. You realize after a while we're just chatting, right? We're just talking, and
Yeah,
it's a whole bunch of
Absolutely.
it wasn't that bad.
yeah.
So
So this show and all our previous podcasts and interviews are available on the YouTube channel, and they are also available on Spotify, right, Eric, and Apple Play. Are
Apple,
they?
I
Are they not?
don't think that they're all on there yet.
Okay,
But they're
but
most of the
Spotify.
back catalog is on Spotify, and I'm gonna get the interviews on there shortly. But we'll try to get all the links in our description as well moving forward. So
So basically, if you like our content but don't want to see our faces, just go to Spotify. If you want to see our faces and all the pictures, go to the YouTube channel, and
yeah,
uh, you'll be able to see who we are. So I guess it's time to wrap up, guys. So
yes,
yep.
um, obviously, with the new schedule, with the show being released on Tuesdays, we'll probably continue our breakdowns on Wednesdays, I guess. So we don't want to be the last guys on Earth to break down the episodes. So we'll continue on Wednesdays. So it's a meeting for next Wednesday for episode 3. So I hope you guys had a good time. We sure did. And until next week, may the force be with you always.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.